Alrighty, welcome everybody. Trevor here again. We're doing our webinar today, and it is on shipping as it relates to the retail strategy. And as I was mentioning to a few of you guys who are live here before, shipping's a big part of this whole strategy. You do a lot of work to get a sale, but you got to make sure the shipping goes well because the transaction's not over until that person has the item sitting on their doorstep or that item is in their hands because you managed to get it shipped out. Now, of course, if you're doing the retail strategy, you're not doing the shipping yourself, right? We've got vendors or drop shippers who are providing the shipping services for us. But there's still some things we've got to consider. So the nice thing is I've got a bunch of you guys here live today, and I want to talk about, some of the problems that take place when you do shipping using drop shippers. And just how we can solve those problems and just streamline this retail drop shipping strategy even better than we already are. Okay? So let me ask you guys right off the bat, those of you guys who are live here, if you guys are here watching this recorded, you'll just have to listen to those who are live. I want to get some feedback here from you guys who've done the retail strategy, who've done some drop shipping on eBay before. Tell me what are some of the pain points or some of the problems that you encounter when you have your supplier ship something out. Or just shipping in general. Any issues that you have as you do drop shipping and you're dealing with the shipping process. And I'm going to read off some of these things, and I want to discuss them. I'm leaving this webinar a little more open-ended to kind of see what kind of problems you guys are having and make it a group discussion and see what we can do to solve some of those issues. And then I've got a couple of points that I'm going to, of course, make as we're going through this. Okay. Let me read through a few. You guys, wow, I got a lot of feedback. Let me look through some of these. Okay, a lot of you guys are using Walmart, I'm seeing. And I'll tell you why that is. I think when our clients first get into the program, Walmart tends to be a pretty easy option to have as a supplier. And so a lot of our clients use them right off the bat, learn their system, get comfortable with it, certainly make some money doing it before they move on to other suppliers. But I'm hearing from a few of you guys are saying that Walmart's been a little slow in their shipping time. Is that right? So give me an idea. So you're saying from the time you get an order on eBay to the time you place the order with, say, Walmart, how long is it taking for Walmart to get the item shipped out? On average, how long are you guys seeing? And we know for sure that Walmart has shipped out the item if we get an email that shows a sort of like a tracking number, right? Okay, here, let me just read to you guys. This will be good for everybody to hear. I'm just going to read to you guys what everybody's saying. So, 3 days. Another person says 3 days. Somebody has been saying 4 days. Others are saying 1 to 2 days, 2 days, 3 to 5. This is a good suggestion, Kirk. You say you don't get the tracking number within 48 hours, you contact customer service at Walmart. Okay. Items are showing up a little later than expected. That's coming from you, Rhonda. Kirk, I like what you do. Now, Kirk is saying your average time you're saying is what, 1 to 2 days out of Walmart? So you're saying when you place an order within 1 to 2 days, 48 hours, you're getting a tracking number? Good. Good. Actually, it's funny. Some of my orders I had done recently through Walmart, they just outright didn't give me a tracking number. So I sat there waiting and waiting and waiting. I wasn't as proactive because I was busy with other things. And finally, yeah, I reached out to their customer service and got a tracking number for them or from them, and was able to get that to my customer. Now, why does that matter so much though, right? Like why is the tracking number thing so critical to everything we're doing here on eBay? Why do we got to have it? Yeah, I'm going to use your comment here, Vince. So eBay knows the item shipped, okay? That's why we've got to have tracking information. Because if you guys remember, if you're doing a listing, let me show you something real quick. I'm going to pretend I'm doing a listing here. You can see this on my screen. I'm going to take the example from last week. We're working on this British keyring. Do you remember? We just were working on the title. But let's assume I had completed the listing, and I'm down here. Let me show you down here towards the bottom. Oh, right here. This section right here, handling time. Okay. So what is handling time? It says this is the number of days it will take you to ship the item after receiving cleared payment. Buyers like to get their items fast, so set a handling time between 1 and 3 days. Now, it's pretty important here. So if I get an order today, let's say I check my eBay account and I got an order right now. It's 12:15 Mountain Time, right? And let's say I chose 2-day handling time. How soon would I have to have the tracking number uploaded to eBay? That's the question, because eBay needs to verify I shipped it. The only way they can verify I shipped it is if I bring in the tracking number. And I get that tracking number from Walmart. So let's say, for example, 12:15 today, I got an order. Great, I find out what it is. I head over here to Walmart, right? Get online. It's in stock. It's ready to rock and roll. I buy it off of Walmart. I find it here and I buy it. And I put in my customer's information and I ship it out. Or at least I put in the order to have it being shipped out. Well, what then happens, guys, is you get a wait time, right? Walmart processes the order. And they process it until they email me saying, hey, guess what, Trevor? We shipped it out. Here's the tracking number. So then I take that tracking number and I go back to eBay and I put it in on the item that I sold, and that shows eBay that, the item's being shipped, and my customer can get access to that as well. So if my handling time was 2 days and it came in at 12:15 today, tomorrow at 12:15 it wouldn't count as a day yet. So like from 12:15 today until midnight tonight, that's kind of like a free day. That doesn't count. Tomorrow, I have all day tomorrow, which would be Saturday until midnight. That's one handling day, or one day. And then Sunday. So, by Sunday evening, in theory, those would be my those would be the handling days. So, or the business days. So I need to make sure I'd have it shipped out before then. But luckily, it would be over a weekend, right? So a weekend doesn't count necessarily. So I would have until early next week, if that makes sense. But the reason why that's so important is eBay actually tracks that statistic. Like if I don't repeatedly get my tracking number uploaded within my said handling time, I'm in trouble. That can hurt my account. So I bring all of that up with you guys just to say, whenever you're listing something using a retailer, and if they're a little inconsistent, like Walmart has been, as you guys have stated, I think I would do 3 business days. 3 business days. And for me, that would be great, because if I had 3 business days and it got ordered on Friday, today doesn't count as one. Saturday doesn't count as one. Sunday doesn't count as one. Monday would be my first. Tuesday would be my second. Wednesday would be my third. I would have to have tracking information uploaded before midnight of Wednesday. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, good. Good. Okay. Questions or concerns on that, or you guys good? All right, perfect. All right, so let me look through some of your other comments. One of you guys said the sound isn't coming in very well. Is the sound all right now? You guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay, good. All of a sudden, like, no, you guys are usually commenting and nothing came in. All right, cool. Yeah, so Nicole, just to clarify, the day it comes in, it doesn't count as a business day. So if I did, let's say in that example, I did 1 day handling, and it got ordered at 12:15 today. Today doesn't count. It would need to happen by the following day at midnight. That would be 1 business day handling. But again, it's a little more complicated because we've got the weekend. So 1 business day would actually be by midnight of Monday, if that makes sense, since today's Friday. And that's handling time. So that's a concern with shipping, because if your supplier's been inconsistent, it would be cool to always be like, yeah, I can get a tracking number uploaded in 1 business day, but is that true with Walmart? Certainly not. Certainly not. I usually give myself a buffer and do 3 business days. And your customers will know this isn't like a hidden metric. When somebody commits to buy your item, it shows it on the listings that on the listing that the handling time is going to be 3 business days. So it's not some sort of surprise, which is good. Okay, that's one of the first big issues then with shipping is processing and shipping time. And here's my advice to you guys about Walmart. I've got a couple of clients that absolutely swear by it. They love it. They probably do 80% of their revenue out of it. I mean, I'm not talking like a couple orders, like small clients. I've got some big clients that love it. And they've gone through some growing pains with it, surely, as you guys are. But there's a reason why we teach Walmart. It's got some value for sure. But I don't want you guys to feel like for even a second that Walmart is sort of like that is the retail strategy. Walmart isn't the retail strategy. They're just a supplier that fits within the retail strategy. I want you guys to feel comfortable checking out others. Linda, you just said just a few minutes ago, you were talking about how Target is running free shipping on items of $25 or more now, right? So Target could be an option. Or one of my clients was using Sears and had a bad experience recently, but Sears in the past has worked well. Overstock, Amazon. I mean, I want you guys to try out some of these bigger name ones, but I also want you to consider looking out there for other smaller retailers that maybe not quite so many are using. Because granted, I mean, you think about it, if I'm teaching every single one of you guys to use Walmart, there's going to be a little added competition right there, right? I mean, in essence, our program is creating a little competition in the Walmart space. But because Walmart is so vast, I don't really think that's true. And even if it is true, we're teaching you guys to branch out and use other suppliers. And that's what we'd like to see you do. So anyway, I hear the complaints about Walmart, and I appreciate where you guys are coming from, for sure. Okay. Let's see. Bill, let me read what you just said here. You say, I listed a product from Walmart. This is Bill talking. I listed a product from Walmart. When I purchased, I noticed the price increased by over $20. I know all of you guys have probably experienced something like that before. Went to Amazon and bought it there. It took Amazon nearly a week to tell me the product had shipped. I'm emailed the buyer every day until I have the tracking number. So there it is. So that's a good way to do it. There's a couple of things there within what Bill's talking about. One, if it's not with if you list it from Walmart and the price shoots up or it's unavailable, go look elsewhere. Go to googleshopping.com like we've talked about before. Let me just bring this one up again, google.com/shopping. This is the actual address. And then you can search for the product here. Or, you know what, this doesn't catch everything. So sometimes I'll just go right out to Google and I'll just do a search directly in Google for the product to see if I can find it. Like we've talked about, it is always worth it, even if you lose just a couple of bucks, to still fulfill the order so it keeps your eBay account in good standing. We don't want our defect rate increasing, right? Okay. The other part of your comment that's interesting there is Amazon took nearly a week to tell me the product shipped. That's problematic, right? Because that would put it outside of the handling time. And even if it was shipped within your handling time, you're going to get dinged from eBay because you didn't have it up there in time. And that's problematic, right? Because we need to make sure if we're going to say 3-day handling, it needs to happen within those 3 days if we're going to maintain a good, solid relationship with eBay. But that's going to happen every once in a while. Even the best suppliers will sometimes make mistakes. And it sounds like, Bill, you handled it just exactly how you should have. If you stay in good touch with the buyer, let them know what's going on, you're waiting from your vendor. As long as you communicate, a lot of times it's fine, it's positive. It's when you don't communicate and the buyer has no idea what's going on, they don't see tracking has been uploaded into eBay, that's when problems happen. So it sounds like you handled it really well. Yeah, and I like your follow-up there too, Bill. Be careful listing rollback pricing because when it sells, the price will be higher. Yeah, sale pricing in general is, you got to be careful with that because sale pricing is very volatile. Okay. Maria, this is an interesting question. So here's what Maria asked. She says, what happens when somebody buys but does not pay right away? Do you still have to adhere to like the 3-day handling? So no, because if you look right here, this should kind of clear up that issue. If you look right here, it says this is the number of days it will take you to ship the item after receiving cleared payment. So once the payment is received, then you still have those 3 days if that's what you specify, if that makes sense. Okay, and this is good feedback too. Kirk says, for Walmart, if an item is on sale, I still list it, but I list with the base price, the main price, not the sale price. Yep, that's a good thought for sure. Yeah, Dave, it looks like you're having problems with the audio. I'm not sure what to tell you. I think if it's clear for everybody else, it's probably an issue with the internet or something on your end, and because it seems like it's pretty clear for the rest of the clients here. Sorry about that. You might have to catch the recording if that's the case, or see if you can't get something fixed on your end there. Nicole, this is a good question. Do we need to email the buyer when their product is shipped every time, or does eBay take care of that for us? eBay takes care of it. So if the item gets shipped, or I'm sorry, if you upload the tracking number into eBay, eBay will notify the buyer that it's been, that tracking's been uploaded or that it's being shipped, or they can see it on their eBay account. So you don't have to email. And you might do that initially because you guys don't maybe have tons of orders coming in when you're first starting. But when you have 10, 15 orders coming in a day or more, it becomes very cumbersome to try to email everybody. So you just upload the tracking number, do a good job, and you won't have any problems, not at all. And yes, Maria, you can definitely use Amazon as a retail supplier for sure. Good. What about this, guys? Let me bring up something that I wanted to address having to do with shipping here today. What about when you get a buyer who buys and pays for something, and then when you go to ship the item, you notice their address is in Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands, or they've got an international address, right? Or it's a Hawaiian address. In other words, it's not an address here in like the lower 48 states. Have you guys experienced that at all? where you're like, oh no, what did I have that option selected? You know, have you seen that before on your own account? Yeah, a few of you guys are saying yes. Vince, many times. Too many times to count. Okay, and so Rick says make sure your preferences are selected correctly. All right, so let me just give you my take on you guys doing this retail strategy. I like to do strategies online that are very streamlined, right? That don't, like, you don't have to do a lot of customer service and a lot of maintenance every single time you close a sale. In its purest form, the retail strategy should make it to where you close a sale, the person pays, you buy the item from the supplier, and then you upload the tracking number and you're done. And a lot of times it can work that way, where it's very quick and very easy, and it takes you 5 minutes to process everything, and boom, you made yourself $20 or whatever it is, whatever your profit margin was. That's what we want. We want a nice streamlined approach. And I know that's not always going to happen, especially as you guys are learning things, but one thing that can help with that is don't try to accommodate everybody's location. Don't try to accommodate every international option or all the US protectorates. Let me just make sure you guys see what Rick's referring to here under the preferences section. Now I'm in eBay. I'm going to go to my eBay account real quick, right here, my eBay. And under my eBay, I'm going to select account right here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. And then right here, I'm going to select site preferences, okay? Site preferences. And then under site preferences, I'm going to come down here to shipping preferences. It's the third main menu from the top, shipping preferences. And then I can come over here and click show, and it'll show all the options here. I think I showed this to you guys on one of the end of our calls recently, but I want to show you again. It's exclude shipping locations from your listings. We'll click edit. And this gives you an option, sort of cover all, to exclude certain places that you don't want to ship. And I would recommend, if you're using the retail strategy generally, you're going to want to restrict all these places. Alaska and Hawaii, we'll probably want to restrict it because there's extra surcharges in most cases if a retailer has to ship out there. U.S. protectorates, that would be like Virgin Islands, Marshall Islands, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, that kind of thing. And then APO, FPO. Who knows what that is? What's APO or FPO? I know some of you guys know this. Yeah, military, right? Military bases. Now, look, I'm a huge supporter of the military for sure, and I know you guys are too, but a lot of times it's kind of a hassle because some of your suppliers won't ship there, and certain items won't ship there. So sometimes I just turn that off because that's extra hassle I'm not sure I want to deal with. And some of your suppliers, even like Walmart, will ship out to Puerto Rico, but it's expensive. And so I like just to turn these options off. International, I like to turn all these options off because I don't want to deal with it. I want to just ship, and even P.O. Box. I don't want to do P.O. Boxes either if I can avoid them. I just want to ship to the lower 48. There's plenty of demand in the lower 48. And knowing what a headache it can be to ship out to different countries and different places, and how I have to check back with my retailer to see if it's an option or whatever, it's a lot of additional work. It's a lot of additional headache that might be valuable for you guys just to select all of these, apply it to all your listings, and be able to move on a little bit. And true, Lorna, of course, Lorna, you're in Canada, but if I'm based in America, I'm going to show countries. Canada's listed right here. If I'm based in America, I may not want to have to ship to Canada because it might be a little bit more of a headache. Right? Even though Canada's real easy because they're our neighbor, and you know, there's lots of commerce that takes place between the two countries. It just depends on your supplier. So I'm speaking very generally here, though, guys. I'm talking about your typical retailer, like a Walmart or a Target or an Overstock or an Amazon. A lot of these companies will make exclusions, or I'm sorry, not exclusions. They'll make exceptions to the rule, and they'll be able to ship out to these different places, but it's always more expensive, and it always causes a lot of back and forth with you and your buyer. And I'm here to say that it's probably not worth your time as much. It would be easier for you to turn off all these issues, and then all of your orders are very easy. They're all streamlined through what's easy for you. Now, if you're out of Canada and you're shipping in Canada, then that would be different. You would just want to keep all of your shipping within Canada and not offer international. But it just depends on what your supplier allows you to do. Okay? Are we clear on that? Questions about that, guys? That'll make it real easy for you. Real easy. Now, if I'm listing something individually, like you could still have individual items that you can change settings on. Let me go into eBay. Let me go to the sell section real quick. Assuming I'm selling an item, right? We'll do our same example we used last week. I can come down here. Let me find the shipping section. Now let's just take a good look at this real quick at all the options here. Now, when you're choosing, shipping options, I think it's almost, I almost would never charge shipping. Just do free shipping on all your listings. Free shipping and build that price right in. I was watching a webinar yesterday. One of the big, I can't remember his position. He was an operations manager of a big e-commerce software company. And he talked about how it's expected. There's been statistics saying it's pretty much expected now that free shipping, in most industries, that's the expectation, that free shipping should be offered. Now, I know it's not offered everywhere, but in a lot of industries it is, and certainly for the retail strategy, it makes sense. So I would do free shipping and then build the shipping cost right in. And then a lot of my clients choose this economy shipping. If you're working with like a Walmart and they're being inconsistent, or you're not sure how consistent they're going to be, or you're working with a brand new retailer you've never used before and you're trying them out, use this economy shipping 1 to 10 business days, because it gives you a bigger window to get the item delivered. But if you've got it sort of zeroed in and you've got a really good supplier, it might be a retailer, it might be a wholesaler that you've had a good relationship with and things have been working well, and you know that between 1 and 6 business days it'll get there, then select that option. But a lot of times it's going to be this economy 1 to 10 business days. Okay? This section right here, the package details, don't fill out any of this stuff. You don't need to. We're doing free shipping, so we don't need to show how much everything weighs. And then item location, it's okay if you leave like your current address as the item location. Granted, it's not from here, it's going to be from a warehouse, but we don't know exactly where that warehouse is from your supplier. So we leave it at that. Now there's a section right here called add or remove options right up here at the top. If I click on that, I want to show you something real quick having to do with shipping. Here's the shipping tab right here. They give you some different options here. There's an international option, and it might already be turned on for you guys. I'm not sure. But if I turn this on and then hit save, it's going to bring up an international section here in the shipping. It'll probably default to no international shipping. but if you turn this on, you could obviously offer some international shipping on this item. I only show this to you just to show that it's here. I don't, I do some international shipping, guys, but I don't do it with the retail strategy. And since today's webinar is about shipping and the retail strategy, I'm not going to spend some time talking about this. Just suffice to say, no international shipping. And the other thing you don't want to do as well, while I'm thinking about this, is let me go back out of where we are here. Let me go back to where we were a minute ago under our site preferences. Do any of you guys know much about eBay's global shipping program? Does that sound familiar to any of you guys, their global shipping program? I'm going to go under account here, and then I'm going to go site preferences again, just the same place we were. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, shipping preferences right here. I'll go show, and you're going to see one at the top. Now, I don't know what it's defaulted to when you guys are first creating an eBay account. I think it's defaulted to yes, but I can't remember. Somebody explain it. Kirk, what is it? You sound like you have maybe a little bit of experience with it. And I can't remember what page. Let me see. eBay Global Shipping Program. There it is. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You can Google it, and you'll see it's the top listing here. You can learn a little bit more about it. But it's essentially where eBay gives like domestic sellers the option. So if I live in America and I make a sale to somebody who's in Israel, I just have to ship the item to an eBay warehouse in America, and then eBay does the rest, and they ship it out to that location in Israel. Okay, here's a little diagram of it. The easy way to ship globally, just get your sold item to the U.S. shipping center, and the program takes it from there. And then it comes in here, and it gives you all sorts of information about it. So you can read about it. I may do a webinar on it at some point, but I'm going to say no, let's not do the global program with our retail strategy. So without getting into any more detail, if you're running the retail strategy or a drop shipping strategy, don't do the global program at this point. That's my advice. Because it makes it to where all of your items are available for anybody internationally. It doesn't matter if the person lives in Brazil or India or Australia, Canada, the UK, whatever. They could buy your item, and then you don't have to ship it to any of those locations. You just ship it to Kentucky, I believe it is, where their big global shipping center is, and then they ship it out for you. But it's very expensive, and it's expensive for the customer. And anyway, I won't say anything more about it other than keep that option selected in your preferences as no if you're just doing this retail strategy that we're teaching you guys about. Don, you've got a question here. You say, I'm looking into a gift basket drop shipper that offers three different shipping options. How can I offer these options on the listings if I choose to do business with the gift basket supplier? The options are UPS ground, 2-day air, and next day air. The supplier shows the three charges for each of them. Okay, so there's some different ways you could do this, Don, but here's what I'm going to recommend. Any of these gift baskets you list, I would list them free shipping, UPS ground. You can say in your listing that shipping is done through UPS ground. List them as free. Build the shipping price into the price you charge. And then I would make a note in the listing in the description, because sometimes it's wise to have a little section in your description that talks about more of your shipping policies. In fact, I'll give you an example of that here. Let me pull up one of these active listings. Let's just pull up this one. Pretty sure I have, yeah. So this is a little necklace that we sell. If you look down here under description, you've got the main product description, and then you have a little shipping section. You could give them options for expedited shipping there. You could say like, hey, send us a message if you need some kind of expedited shipping, and we'll work something out. I don't think I would build the options into the listing. I would just say that in the description. And then I would just show it's UPS ground and the cost is free. And you can, of course, show the cost is free shipping. So when you have different options, you know, it's a lot of suppliers will offer those options. I mean, Walmart has some expedited options as well, but I don't like to just offer them on every listing. I just usually say, hey, we've got one shipping and it's free and it's 1 to 10 days. But if you need expedited options, contact us and we'll see if we can work something out. Just because, Don, it doesn't happen enough to where I think you need to work it into each individual listing. But if you wanted to, let's say you did want to make those options available, okay, you can do that. And if we go back to the shipping preferences, there's a section that I'll have you look at. Let me get back there real quick. Account. By the way, does that make sense, Don? Was I clear there? Site preferences. Okay, shipping preferences right here. Show. I believe it's here. You can use a shipping rate table. You can offer calculated shipping where you can actually, you know, based on the person's location, if you offer UPS ground based on their location and some of the details you put in about the product, it'll spit out a price for them. Like there's those options here. You can virtually do anything you want with shipping. That would just be my recommendation, to keep it really simple at this point in time. Nicole asked an interesting question. She says, is there a general way to build in the shipping price that is less time consuming? Or do we need to figure it out for each and every product individually by acting like we're checking out right then? Well, that's sort of supplier specific, Nicole. So as you learn, I mean, I learned through certain suppliers over time, I really learn about their shipping policies. Like Linda said, you know, Target's running $25. If the item's $25 or more, it's going to be free shipping. And in most cases, when you're doing the retail strategy, you're going to be listing products that are more than that. So it makes it easy. It's like you don't even have to take the time to figure out shipping, because you know it's going to be free because that's your supplier's policy. Walmart is generally $50 or more is usually free shipping. There are some exceptions as you get into bigger items that might require shipping through a freight company, you know, big furniture items. But generally, the best advice I can give is learn your supplier's policies, and once you know it, you don't necessarily have to take the item, put it in your cart, and start checking out to get an idea of what shipping is going to be. You'll just know. You'll know that it's not going to cost you anything. So that speeds it up just a little bit. Susan, you ask, when selling an item from around the house, should I go to UPS to determine the shipping cost before listing the item? I'll give you this caveat. UPS and FedEx are similar in that if it's a bigger item, it's usually more cost effective to go through them. If it's US, or if it's most anything else that's like a smaller item, it's always more effective to go through the post office. It's almost always cheaper. And then when you're calculating, I think I've shown you, some of you guys, this before. You can go to a site called shipgooder.com. Again, this is for stuff around the house. You can estimate the cost of shipping here with this little tool. It's pretty cool. There's another shipping webinar that's more geared towards that type of thing. So anyway, shipgooder.com, that'll help you price things out. Okay, so guys, I think I've covered kind of what I wanted to go through. Any other questions just about shipping as it relates to the retail strategy? Anything else that's a pain point that we feel like we should discuss? Because I think we've talked about a lot of good things tonight. You know, or sorry, this afternoon. I think we've talked about the issue with processing times and tracking numbers and maybe how to fix that. And I really believe if you're working with a supplier that's very inconsistent, then rather than continue to grind away with that supplier, go work with another supplier. Even if we've recommended to use Walmart up front, if they're not working for you, don't continue to use them. We don't want to force you to, because some of our clients have good experiences and others struggle a little bit with them. Go find a different supplier, if that's the case. And then let's not burden ourselves with giving every buyer out there options to ship to their location if they're an international buyer. Keep it domestic, using the preferences like I showed you guys. Make it easy on yourself. Try to streamline this, because if you're struggling with just a few sales here and there, or you're doing a couple of sales a day and it's kind of a headache, these are some things that can make it a lot easier. But really, the big thing is the supplier. Like if they're just not doing a good job and you've just seen them to be very inconsistent and it's hard to work with an inconsistent supplier, then use somebody else. I mean, we're not married to any one retailer. I want you guys to try different ones. Absolutely try different ones. And we set up the program like this because, give you the big ones, the general ones, and then let each individual client learn those principles and work with their coach to go find different suppliers that not everybody else is using. I mean, you don't see me here. I don't give you my very specific retailers. I tell you that I use some of the big name ones, even, a Walmart or an Amazon. But, through time, I've found my own online retailers that this works well with that I use. And I want you to find some that you can use as well, because there's tons out there, so we can groom you on that. And you've learned too today that drop shipping in all of its glory isn't always, I mean, it's pretty convenient for the most part, but it's not a perfect model. These are the problems you have with drop shipping. You don't have problems with inventory, in paying for inventory and storing it, and you avoid all of that and all the risk that comes with it, but these are some of the issues that can come up, and it's important to understand what those are. Okay. Well, we're just about finished. Any last questions, go ahead and put them in. Rick, you said FedEx, UPS, maybe raising their prices. Have I heard anything? Yeah, I feel like I hear it every year. Them and the post office seem to raise their price yearly. And they always say that it has to do with, well, we just got to keep up with inflation, right? So we got to keep raising our prices. But I'm not so sure. Shipping tends to get more and more expensive year after year. But something will have to give, because, e-commerce is so common now, bigger than it's ever been ever before, that I don't know if new providers will be coming onto the table soon, or if if competition is hopefully going to drive prices down. I'm not sure, but I'm confident that things will work out from a shipping standpoint. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna turn off the recording and finish up. It's great to have you guys here again. Hopefully, this was instructive and helpful. If you haven't been doing the retail strategy, do it. Use some of these principles we taught today, and I think it'll help you streamline things a little bit better, which is exactly what this is for. All right. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording. Thanks again for being here, guys. We will see you next time.